Hello. Hello, hello. Good evening. How is everyone? Are you good? Okay. So I thought I would do a little introduction to the stitch along like I always do. It's kind of nice to keep all of the videos like together. So if anybody finds the stitch along, they know to start with the prep. So if you've already done this, or you've already watched one of the other stitch alongs and therefore you're like, I don't really want to watch this again and again and again, then feel free to just skip, or you can ask some questions or whatever. And I'm happy to answer throughout. So I just thought I'd go through the whole shebang. So I've got some fabric here, the pattern printed. I've got another one to show you kind of how I do it. I've got my iPad here. Hello, Jane. So I can show you how to do it. Like if you didn't have a printer maybe and you wanted to use like your computer screen. Hi everyone. So there's a couple different ways that you can transfer. So I thought I'd show you a couple of those, and then we can go through, Jessie. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but Jessie's decided to lay right on my feet underneath the table, so sorry. Hi. No, I'm not going to be able to get it back to where it was. Goodness gracious. Okay. Yeah, and then I thought I'd just kind of go through some of the colors. For this one, they're like pretty iconic images, if you know what I mean. So like, you know that trees aren't normally green, stockings are normally red and white, but you can make them any colors that you want to. So that's why this one's kind of fun, because there really aren't any, like in some of the other patterns, you kind of need to know the colors so that it can look exactly the same, you know? Hi, Meg. But this one's kind of like a choose your own adventure with the colors. So let's get down to transferring the pattern first, and then we'll dive into that. So there's a couple ways that you can transfer your pattern. The easiest way for me is to take it and print it out. So I've printed out the 8-inch one. And this is what it looks like when it's printed. Just looks like that. And you cut it out so it's just inside the black line. And then that should fit exactly inside the middle of your 8-inch hoop. So in the pattern, I've included a 7 and an 8-inch one. Normally, I would probably do the 7-inch one. But because these are a little bit smaller, some of the details are quite small, I thought the 8-inch one would be good. So the first thing you're going to need to do is put your hoop into, or put your fabric into the hoop. And there's really only one way to do it, so it's easy. I also have this kind of gold fabric, so I'm not really sure which one I'm going to use, but you can see it's just got like polka dots on it. But I think it might look cool to have all of the, you can kind of see what it would look like. So that looks kind of neat, you know, to have all the things stitched on a patterned fabric. But that's up to you. Whatever you have is fine. Whatever you find is fine. I'll just show you on the white fabric because I think it'll be easier for you to see me transfer it. So most of the hoops that you find will have this at the top. For this one though, it's 2 parts. So normally this nut here is connected to this part here, so it won't turn. But for this particular hoop that I have, it will turn. And what I mean by that is this one. This right here is actually connected to this part here. So this round part is actually like welded onto there. So when you loosen it, You really don't have to do anything to this piece. You just tighten it. So if you have one of these hoops, it's quite easy. You do the same steps. You just don't have to worry about holding it like I do, and just tighten it. So I'm just gonna do it, and then you can see and show you. But if you've got one like this that has the extra little nut thing, I'll have to ask my dad what it's really called. Probably sound like an idiot. You do have to hold it because it will come off. So you can tell if I don't hold it, it kind of twists on its own. So you're gonna separate these two here. This is one of Jesse's hairs, so that's great. You're just gonna separate the two, and you're gonna put the fabric over the top of the middle one, like that, and try to get it kind of centered. So obviously I'm gonna cut this part off here. So I just kind of wanna look for the same on the sides. And then you're gonna put this one over top like that. Now I'm right-handed, so it's easier for me to tighten this with my right hand than it is with my left. So what you're gonna do is I like to put this part right here against my stomach, hold on to the nut, and then twist. And then after you've got it a little bit tight, you're going to go around and pull with your two thumbs. That's what the back looks like. Pull like this and pull it tight all the way around. Now it's not all the way tight yet. You're just gonna kind of make it snug a little bit. And then do it again. So for mine, because I have that extra nut there, I need to hold the nut with pliers and then tighten it with a screwdriver. You're gonna do a little bit more and then tighten again. So this is the same if you don't have the nut. You're just gonna keep tightening it a little bit and then pulling it a little bit and then tightening it a little bit and then pulling it a little bit more. And you want the fabric on the top to be super tight, and it makes a sound like a drum. The other thing you can do is run your finger around the edges like this, and you can feel it if it kind of goes down. So like that, it's either not tight enough or you have a gap in your hoop. So I'm just gonna tighten mine a little bit more. Man, he's really going at it on that trumpet or saxophone. So I like to tighten it pretty tight and then do one more round. And you really want it to be tight on there. I know this is kind of the boring part, is the prep work. But if you prep your hoop really well, then you're going to be off to a really good start. But if you don't prep it very well, meaning that if you have fabric here that's loose and it doesn't make that nice drum sound, you're going to have so many problems. Particularly if your fabric is not tight, then the stitches will start to kind of bunch together and you'll get a lot of puckering in your fabric, which means that your fabric will kind of start to look like this. See how there's like a wrinkle in there? Like that? And you won't be able to get that out. So you always want to make sure that before you start, you want to tighten your fabric up really nice and good. Okay, so we've done the fabric. The only thing to really worry about with the fabric is making it tight, and the kind of fabric. Don't have any stretch in the fabric that you use. So I like to use 100% white cotton. That's what this is. It's just 100% white cotton. You can use linen, you can use the cotton linen blend, you can use Kona cotton, you can use calico, but just no stretch. What happens with the stretch is that we need to stretch the fabric slightly to put it in the hoop. And when you have stretched fabric in the hoop that's also stretched, when you take it out of the hoop, it will go back to how it sits naturally when it's relaxed, which means that your stitching might be bunched up, and you don't want that to happen either. That's why on the back of like embroidered t-shirts and stuff, they always have that kind of white, what's it called? Backing stabilizer for embroidery, like on t-shirts or sweatshirts or something. Just a little trick. Jesse's still laying there. It's so weird to stand here. Okay. So the last thing that I do is I will cut just the corners off, because as you're pulling your fabric through, it'll make a loop on the back. And a lot of times you can catch the corners of your fabric with that loop, and it's really annoying. So I just cut it a little bit shorter like that. And I like it to be a circle, just like that. Yeah, so step 1 done. So now we'll go on to putting the fabric, putting the pattern onto the fabric. I haven't even had my wine yet. It's still here. I did half a glass of wine and some sparkling water. So I'm not getting in a tizzy this evening. Right, so to put the pattern onto the fabric, my favorite way, like I showed you earlier, is to print it out and cut. And then all you need to do is slide it behind like this. If you need to, you can use some blue tack, which is why I always have some here, because I use it quite a bit. And just push it like that on the top and bottom. If you want to, if you don't want to, you don't have to either. And then you can trace it on. I would recommend using one of these Pilot Frixion pens. I give them out in all of my kits. They are the Pilot brand, Frixion, and they are removable by, well, says friction because that's what the eraser is for, but it's removed by heat. So all you need to do is take a hairdryer on hot, and it will come off. So they have a couple different sizes as well. So the 0.5, I like the 0.5. It gives a really nice fine line. And the 0.7 is just a little bit thicker. So you can't even really tell, but this one is, hi Melissa. This one is the 0.5, just a little bit thinner. And then this one was the 0.7. So you can't tell that much. Do you know what I mean? But it is a little bit different. So I tend to like the 0.5. They're just a little bit thinner. You can get them in all kinds of different colors. I've got pink, purple. Red is the hardest to get out, meaning that sometimes all of the lines won't disappear for red. So I normally use red for like to-do lists or something if I accidentally get one. So yeah, I try to keep with like purple or green. Green is a good one because it normally always erases. And like I said, you just take a hot hairdryer and blow dry the top of it, and then all of the lines will disappear. Now, people keep saying that they will reappear, like if you ship your hoop somewhere or if you go like snowboarding with it or something. So just be aware of that. I've never had it happen to me. And I have almost 2,000 orders that I've sent out in the past kind of 5 years. So I don't know, it might happen to you, but I know that I have erased it and then put it in the freezer to try, and the lines do come back. So just be aware of that. I know that some people use an iron and they've had luck with that. The only thing with the iron is that sometimes it makes the threads look really shiny. And it's hard to explain. It almost looks like they're melted, but they're not melted. It's just shiny. You know, sometimes you'll like iron your shirt and you'll get that little like sheen to it. I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, I also find that it like pushes them down a bit, like after they've been stitched. When you iron them, it'll like almost like compress them. So just be aware. You might want to put like a cloth over top and then iron if you want to do that. So there's one way. So you would just literally put your fingers like that, and then you can trace it like that. okay? So the second way is if you don't have a printer, you don't necessarily need a printer. The second way is when you get your pattern, what are you doing? She's like laying all the way across my feet now. So when you get your pattern, you can normally zoom in and out like this, or you can take a screenshot of it and then zoom in and out if you're having a problem. So the other way is that the way that I showed you, it sets you up to stitch because I don't like stitching like this. For some reason, it just really bothers me because I like to hold my hoops like this so that my fingers kind of hold the inside of the back of the hoop. Hi, Tash and Lucy. So, because I like to hold it like this, I don't like stitching the other way. So with the next method I'm going to show you, you will have to take the fabric out and then flip the fabric over and then re-hoop it this way. Or if it doesn't bother you, then you can just keep stitching. So I'll show you that now. I hope that the color of the video doesn't get like crazy. But what you can do is zoom in and out like this. And if you put your hoop over the top of your computer screen, you can zoom in and out to whatever size that you want. So obviously I have a smaller iPad, so I kind of would have to make up the other half of this or move it over. What you can do though is there's a guided access on here, and if you have an iPad, you can push the home button, which is the button at the bottom, 3 times. See, the video is like all yellow because it's like focusing on this part. You push it 3 times and it does guided access. So the guided access, all you need to do is you circle where you want the screen to be frozen, and in that circle, it won't move. So you can see I'm trying to move it and stuff just in this circle. So if you have an iPad and you want to keep it frozen on that exact size, then that's perfect, especially if you don't have a printer. So you can't necessarily print out the pattern, because I know some people said they had some problems just because they didn't own a printer, which is fine. You can just put it straight up on your computer screen, and I've done that before as well. And you just hold it up to your computer screen like that, and then you can trace it. The third way is you still have to print it, but you can do a, put it on the window. I don't know why I'm saying but you can put it on the window. So you would take your printed, tape it to a window. Okay, so pretend the table is a window like that. And then when you put it over the top like this, you can see straight through. Someone's just said, or you can use carbon paper. I'm not a big fan of carbon paper because you can't really erase it. I haven't had good luck with it. So if you like it, you can do that. Go ahead, honey. That's like, use the way that works the best for you, if you know what I mean. I just find that I'm lazy and I don't want to flip over, rehoop my fabric. Once I've done it once, that's it. I don't want to do it again. Okay, the very final way is that if you do have a printer, you can do the sticky solvy. I'm not a fan of this either because I find that it makes my needle sticky. But some people really like it, especially if you don't want to draw out some of the details or if you're a bit shaky. So I've got a couple of friends who they just are too shaky to do the small details and kind of trace the printed pattern. I'm just taking off my sweatshirt because the heat just came on for the last time today. So it's warm in here. So if you like the sticky solvy, then you run it through the printer and then you tear off the back of it, stick it how you want it, and then you stitch right over the printed part. Some people really like that, and that's totally fine too. So it's up to you. So hopefully you understood all of that. Because I feel like I keep looking at the time thinking I need to like make it quicker, but that's all right. The last thing, because I'm not gonna do it again because I've already done it once, so I'm not gonna, trace it again. I think you guys can get that I'm going to trace it, right? So the very last thing is colors. So the good thing with this is that the pattern is things that you kind of already know the colors for. So it shouldn't be like, oh my God, like what color do I need to make this exact tree? Use whatever color you have. Use a scrap. Just grab one. Like, it's not a big deal at all. I will say that you'll probably need black because for some of these, I will be outlining them. So some of them we might keep just the color. So like the tree, we might do just green. But for Santa, we might outline Santa in black. So make sure that you get black. If you haven't got it, then grab it. Some of you in America might not know these two on the bottom, but we've got a Christmas cracker. So one person holds one end and then your next door neighbor holds the other end. And you cross your arms like this. So you're holding one end of your neighbor's crackers. Do you know what I mean? And then you pull them and there's a little treat inside. Some of them are like really good. Some of them are kind of like fingernail clippers or like a little mirror or something. They're quite big. They're like a foot long. So that's a very British thing. And then the Christmas pudding, that's also quite a British thing. Like I never had Christmas pudding growing up like this. So I'm assuming that it's just in England really. But yeah, all the other things that you can probably guess what they are. We've got a robin, ornaments, a wreath, stocking, gifts. I was going to do what's the kissing one? Mistletoe? Yeah. But I thought I would do just like a foliage instead. Christmas cracker, pudding, snowflake Santa, tree. We might do some little decorations on the tree, like little string of lights or something, and then some stars. So hopefully you get it. I'll just kind of go through some of the colors that I pulled. So I pulled some kind of retro looking ones for the ornaments. I will say that there is a colored in version in the pattern. So if you kind of look at the colored in version, I just briefly, like really quickly colored it in to see like what it would look like. So I kind of use the same greens for almost everything. So you can choose different ones if you want, or you can choose the same ones. Same with the red. I use the same color red for everything. Oh, so someone's just said in Australia, some do puddings and crackers, or at least they do in their house. Okay, so that's good. But that kind of makes sense though, because that like used to be, there's like a British and Australian link there, isn't there? I don't know any of my friends who've done like puddings that look like that or crackers. But I think they're so cute and it's really fun. Like we do in David's family, we do the candle game. So I'll explain it later if there's any time. It's basically just watching the candle burn all the way down to the bottom. But it's quite fun. I think we'll play it in America this year. So here's like the colored in version. So you can kind of like see what I was thinking. And then I'll like show you the colors. All right. So I got some like retro colors for the middle for the ornament ones. And then I just pulled like all the greens. That goes there. And that goes there. I just pulled like all of the greens that I could get. And then a couple different reds and like some dark reds just in case. Will you shut up? Ugh. These ads on YouTube, man, they're killing me. Yeah, so I've just got like a bunch of different greens. So I got dark ones, light ones, medium ones. So really I could get away with just doing one green for all of the green, if you know what I mean. So if you had to pick like 5 colors, I bet you could get away with 5 or 6 colors if you're going out to like buy new threads. You could do like red, white, black, green, brown for the Christmas pudding, yellow or gold for the stars. And I bet you could do all of them with that, to be honest. Because you could do green for this, green and red for these, or white or gold, green and red, red and white. Do you know what I mean? So if you're like, if you want to be balling on a budget, then you can definitely get all of this done with just a couple colors. But I have a bunch of things that I have saved or accumulated or whatever. So I'm going to try to use some of those. So last year, Anchor sent me some of these. Some of them are Anchor and some of them are DMC, actually, now that I'm looking at it. These kind of metallic threads. So one of my friends at the lake gave me some of these ones. You can tell how old they are. Pretty sure that's the date. And then Anchor last year sent me some of these marlet and lame threads. So these ones are the like metallic threads. They're kind of a pain to work with, I'm not gonna lie, because they all separate when you use them. Can you see that? So like kind of at the end, they all separate like that. So it's a bunch of different threads that are all kind of twirled into one, and that's how they're made. But they are absolutely stunning when you use them in your work. So it just depends if you can have the patience for it. Definitely try them. The Anchor ones that I got come in the gold and the silver, like this. And then I know DMC also has this kind of like a gray metallic. Can you stop licking, please? Hey, sister, enough. Your paws are clean. That sounds rank. Don't look at me like that. Don't. So see, we've got this one. So that's like the straight up silver. And then the DMC has this like kind of super glitter, dark gray. So it just depends on what you like. So there's a couple of those. And then the marlet ones, I have blue as well. Let me find the blue one because it's so pretty. It's like a really light colored blue. These are both silver. Where'd the blue one go? Stop. Hey, stop. There is a light blue one, but I don't see it. I don't see it in here. Oh, it fell out. Here we go. So there's the white color, silver, and then this really pretty light blue. I think I'm gonna do the snowflake and this light blue. So here's the numbers if you want to order them from Anchor or go into your Hobbycraft and grab them up. And they're kind of this like really silky, shiny. It's like different than the regular threads. So like these are like regular threads. See what I mean? And then they also come apart like the regular threads do. Can you see? I think there's only 4 though that are twisted together. They are absolutely beautiful on the fabric. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I think I might do this blue for the snowflake here. So it'll be like a little bit of a shimmery sparkle. And then I might take the plunge and do maybe a gold for the stars. I don't know. That's a big leap, really. So we've got those. And then I've just got white, blanc, and B5200. If you are in embroidery, you know they're very similar, but they're different. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it as far as colors. Like I said, you definitely need a black because we need a black for some outlining. The outlining will be your choice if you want to do it or not. Of course, you don't have to. Let's see what else. Taking another sip. Men's Maid says, I like to mix a regular thread with a metallic. It makes it a little easier to use. Yes, that's such a good tip. So actually, my parents got me this DMC, this one, for my birthday. So maybe I'll use one of these now that you've said that. So if you've never seen these before, I'm sure you have, but if you've never seen these before, they're kind of like regular thread, but also kind of not. They're very sparkly, but not as sparkly as the metallics. They look like that. Snowflake would be pretty in that like light gray. And then down here, they're so pretty. Haven't used them yet because I'm a little bit like, I want to save them. They look so pretty in the tin. But let's be real. I really need to use them, don't I? So yeah, it's kind of just pulling the things that you have and using those. You could do this, like I said, with 6 colors at the very minimum, and then all of these colors at the very maximum. I will say one tip I like to have is to keep a little box with all of the colors that you would like to use or will use next to your, I don't know why I just dumped all of them out, next to all, your project. I actually have like a tray, like a basket tray. That's just a short little one, but it's filled right now, that I normally put my project in, and then all of the threads go in here for each of the different projects. And that way you can keep it all sorted. So, have you got any questions? Are we excited? I know this was like totally last minute, but I wasn't sure if I would get all of my orders done. And after the markets and everything, I was just like last week, just really dug in and like finished all of them. So I've got a couple more trickling in, but not anything out of control, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm up for a little stitch along. So I thought, let's just do it, because why not? And plus I didn't want to wait until next year to use it. That's too long. Right, so I'll leave you to your day. If you have any questions, you can reply to the video. I'll keep it up for 24 hours. And tomorrow morning, Jamie T says, are you going to do the gold fabric or the white? I bet it will look super pretty on the gold. See, I don't know. My heart is telling me go with white because everyone will be able to see it easier. Like, to be able to see the stitches and everything easier. But also, the gold is really pretty. So, I kind of feel like maybe I should do it on the gold. Maybe I'll just make 2. Maybe I'll just say screw it and I'll just do 2. Because it will look really pretty, won't it? But I'm thinking for everybody to, like, be able to see the instructions clearer, maybe the white will be better. I'm just thinking of you guys. Okay, do both. Jane's Happy Home says do both. I'm doing it. I'm going to do both. All right, so that's it from me. If you have any other questions, you can send me a message on Instagram. Just a reminder that when you reply to live videos, we don't really know what you're talking about. We meaning the people who get the questions. Some people will be like, oh, that's a good idea. But we literally just get like, that's a good idea. That's the only thing that we get replied to us. So if you do have a question about something specific, make sure you leave a little note about reference, just so I know what you mean. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's it from me. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we're going to jump right in with the stars. So if you're in England time, I hope to see you there. If you're in America time, 5 a.m. for the East Coast is very, very early. So please don't feel like you have to. As always, they will go on YouTube that same day. So I'll save it to my stories for the day, the live. And then you can still reply and ask questions and all that jazz. And then after the 24 hours, you will find all of the videos on YouTube. So you can just go to my YouTube, The Barmy Fox, and old Stitch-alongs are there still. So they go by day. So this one will be Feelin' Festive Stitch-along. So probably FF Stitch-along, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, all the way to day 12. Day 12 will be on the 23rd. And that is because I think people will be busy on Christmas Eve. I think I'm going to have to use the gold thread. Karen says, I cannot wait to see if we use that golden thread. I think I'm going to have to now. Oh, it is a bitch to work with. I'm not going to lie. So you'll see the frustrations. I've never stitched these up before, so we'll all be learning together. Okay, that's it for me. I'm done. Have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow at 10. Bye.